Welcome back. If you're just tuning in, this is the This Morning program coming to you live on QTV, and I am Julden Jai. Like I said earlier, we are talking about cybersecurity and scamming. It's like it's becoming rampant in the Gambia here now. So we have the Deputy Police PRO, Mohamed Waidabo, in the studios, and of course we have a cybersecurity expert, Amadou Eba. Good morning, gentlemen. But before that, we will take a look at the video on cybersecurity and scamming in the Gambia.
They don't have.
Okay, it says some other scammers will pretend to be legitimate when they are actually not, and that is often the case.
Did you say some? I think any scammer.
Some of them are really legitimate when you see them, especially this WishM and AL.
All of them pretend to be legitimate. Yeah,
absolutely. So I have Mohamed Waidabo with me. Last week we did a story on scamming and for the fact that the AL group and WishM have scammed hundreds of Gambians, you know, and take us through the latest development as far as the scamming is concerned.
Thank you so much, Julie, and thank you for having me. My admired person.
Really?
Yeah. I've been staying for this man. I follow him a lot on social media.
Good to know.
He does what I love most, brevity. And it's always informative there.
Thank you.
So yes, of course, last week we had a press briefing. There is expectation of some new development. To start with, we have over 250 people that have now come to report instead of just 100 people.
And I said it at the time. I said it's not going to stop at 100.
Indeed, indeed. So, and people are still coming. People are calling. People are, in fact, even on their groups, they are now writing their names of the people who are affected. Unfortunately, this is people from all walk of life. Right. You talk about the civilians, you talk about civil servants, you even talk about security men, including police officers. Almost everybody is involved in this scamming. It's no longer alleged. You know, so that's the unfortunate part. We're still making development to get stock of the exact amount, or probably how much people will have from now against the end of the week. But also we are taking some administrative decision as far as this is concerned to see how we can liaise with those international bodies or international banks or whatsoever where these people do their transactions.
Sure. And
see whether it's possible to identify them and where identification is done to also see whether there are possible ways of making recoveries. Right. That is the intention of the investigation, but we'll get to there whether these intentions are in fact possible or they're not possible.
Sure.
So apart from the 5 people that were arrested, did you make any arrests to that effect?
No, those are the 5 that are arrested because they're the ones who are responsible for all the transactions in the country. Pyramid scheme in its nature is such that the original scammers are usually not known, you know, especially if they're doing it in another country.
Electronically.
So what they do, they have players, they have representatives, some sort of an indirect rule system, where they will have this representative to play their cards well for them. Sure. And they will be appointing them in some funny names. For example, managing director. You tell the Gambian to know whether this is going to be a funny joke, but you tell the Gambian that you are managing director.
Sounds impressive.
That's so impressive.
Yeah.
And they can go at any extent to ensure that they fulfill their responsibility. Sure. So that is how it is. This is we have a managing director and we also have the directors. Sure. And their responsibility is to coach these people in the perfect Ponzi earth, so they understand this is how exactly you can do the investment, and unfortunately unsuspecting to those representatives themselves that it will end up being a scam. Of course, you know, the representatives themselves, according to the report our investigators, are also affected in the scamming incident. I mean, these are people who have never seen who the original scammers.
Yeah, good.
They only communicate on phone, and sometimes that is not even consistent. You ask them how many times do you talk to the original scammer? They say, no, I spoke to him, her only once. So of course I know a lot of talk some people will think they're Indians, some people will come up with other allegations, but the representatives, one of them, the managing director specifically said the person that he spoke to has a British accent, and the app was built in China. So looking at the trajectory of this entire process, you come to conclude that these people have perfected the art so that their activities will be so diverse, so that when police or any other investigator is in the investigation process, you'll have to battle with traces to know why is it built in China, but the person who sent an audio, so-called audio, is speaking an Indian, is speaking like an Indian. And if that is true, then the representative of this process, why is he talking to someone who has a British accent? So even from a layman perspective, you can see the complexities that are involved in this process. But Julia, I know we'll come there. But it all boils down on perception and deception. And unfortunately, the lion's side of the blame goes to us who are involved.
Okay, speaking of, because this is a cybersecurity issue, and like I said, the more technologies are coming, the more scammers are also evolving. They are coming up with new ways to scam people. So what do you think, Amadou Eba, what are the most important things to know as far as cybersecurity is concerned?
Thank you very much, Gilda. First and foremost, I think I have to say kudos to the Gambia Police Force. Honestly, they acted safely in ensuring that people remain calm. The reason why I'm saying this, because from our end at the Gambia Cybersecurity, I think we receive almost about 127 emails, complaints, about this issue. And technology is trending, and because technology is trending, people need to understand cyber criminals become more and more sophisticated by the day. They change their patterns anyhow. And Gambia is not the only victim. 2 weeks before Gambia, it was Liberia. Over $50 million just get disappeared. You understand? And as he rightly mentioned, the pyramid scheme is very complex. Complex in the sense that that is why it's important we have structures in place. Like, for example, right now, the efforts that we are trying to do with the Ministry of Digital Economy to have a conformity assessment lab, where some of platforms like this can be tested, you understand, from the back end, understand the source code, you understand, and know where the system originated from. And from our end, the Gambia Cybersecurity Alliance, we have been monitoring WishM and AL for over 1 month.
Right.
I think SIS got involved 2 weeks before the police will effect the arrest, and we coordinated work together, you understand, with some few police officers from the crime management coordinating unit. And people need to know cyber criminals are turning towards Africa because they know our level of awareness is very, very low. You understand? And they know our exposure to technology is also very, very low. And everybody wants to be rich. Do you understand? And I always tell people, sometimes certain things are too good to be true. How can you just make money by sharing an ad? It doesn't make any business sense. You understand? So people just need to watch out, and know the kind of businesses that we involve ourselves in. From our end, we think at some point we also have to put a blame on the Ministry of Justice, the Registrar of Companies, because from a cybersecurity perspective, in this 21st century, you don't just register companies like that without conducting a serious background check.
It's very simple.
It's
you don't need to be there to get registered.
Exactly. You
understand? I'll come in here. It's a difficult one. And, I always make this statement that the internet doesn't let you hide. So if anybody types my name and says Ponzi scheme, they'll see that in the UK before I came here, involved in closing down over 100 of them. Now, the reason I came in at this point is because we're saying that countries like the Gambia, in moving forward, one of the things that we always say, we're open for business. And one of the things we always say about we're open for business is that company registration,
Yes.
they will tell you it used to take 3 months, now it can take 3 days.
Yes.
How many checks can you do in 3 days?
Exactly.
Virtually none.
Yeah.
And so you want people to register because you want there to be a vibrant business environment.
Yeah.
And you don't want to slow down the process. If I say, you know, because there are legitimate companies where all they've made their money from is an app, you know, be it, you know, WhatsApp, whatever. WhatsApp is an app, even by its very name, and look how popular it is, and look how lucrative it has turned out to be. So if the company says what we have is an app, do we have the resources at our equivalent of the company's registration to check, as he says, the back end of that to see how legit it is? It's very, very difficult. We're asking almost for the impossible, you know? It's very difficult. And the reason I say if people type my name is that all the companies we wound them up because they had registered as a legitimate company before we found out that what they were doing was illegal and against the public interest. And that's, in fact, we had what we call the public interest unit. And that was our job, was to close them down in the public interest. So it's very difficult. You allow them to register, but once you come down, boom, then you know,
That's a different approach.
It's a different
Yeah.
approach.
And
Now,
it becomes a problem because with AL, some people are even dealing with them, they don't even know their office.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
And that makes it more interesting. You understand? You're dealing with a company, you understand, doing business, investing in it, but you're not making money. And people, one very important thing people need to understand with the pyramid scheme, the 400 people will be paid.
Exactly.
They will receive their funds.
Yeah.
Do you understand? And that is, they essentially doing that to buy trust.
Of course.
That's true. A
So
friend
that
of
the-
mine told me that she received $450.
This is it.
So really?
Yes.
So
But
yes,
it can
I just
only work
invested
if more
$1.
people keep coming into
$100.
You know,
$100,
I'll
yeah.
tell you, the Gambia Cybersecurity Alliance is part of a global body called the Global Cybersecurity Alliance, and we're part of a continental body called the Africa Cybersecurity Alliance, which I got elected
been
as the
elected
president,
president.
in Addis Ababa recently. So one major important thing that we did was we were focusing more on the wallet for AL. And this is something that is very, very important. We are not talking about it. When when we were monitoring their wallet, and all of a sudden we see over $600,000 withdrawal. Just happened.
Correct.
So that sends a signal.
Yeah, sure.
If you see that with any business entity, know that something serious is going down. And when Binance is contacted, Binance don't even know their existence, because in the crypto world you remain anonymous.
Yeah, correct.
That's
the whole concept.
That's the whole concept.
Yeah,
so Binance, I think the police will do very well in that area. Binance, they are a platform that is trusted, and they have an open door policy. You know, if requests are made through the Gambia Police Force, I can tell you they will provide the information that they have. Because some countries have done it. Being a continental president, I've seen countries that has done this, and they were able to get the original information about the people behind the opening of those accounts. But interestingly, the crypto world is very, very crazy, and Gambians are beginning to get into the crypto business. Most of us don't even know what happens behind.
They don't even understand the
Exactly.
concept of it, and you know.
So at this point, Mohamed Wada, because I understand that this particular company is a registered one. When they came in, what did they register as?
Merchandise, online marketing, import and export.
You just put general.
You know, it's
The law allows you to do that.
The names, the terms are so clear and attractive that you think it is an investment opportunity, or a job opportunity for the young people, for the Gambians. So as a government, you say, let's go in for this. Of course, there are requirements that you do before you are able to register. So if you come up with all of those documents, you are registered. Of course, the government is more interested in creating jobs. So Mr. Ade will say, what type of a job? You know, and that's okay. You leave that answers to them. But let us be clear. I want to make this clear. I see a lot of people saying, the same police, after the briefing, I saw comments, some people reach out to me. Well, that was a good briefing, but you are the people who register. I said, who? We don't register companies. It's not our responsibility to register companies. So yes, so this whole thing came dramatically. I think I call it the perfect Ponzi art. They started with, I know some people don't like that comment, from reception to deception. And to explain that, they went to a grand launching. After you pay your money, your money is taken to go and launch a Ponzi act where you'll be scammed. That is what they did. And they went to the Bagadaji Hotel, if I remember.
Yes, with free food?
Yeah, free.
And the dollars and the cereals were
it was
so
actually
happy.
not free.
Not free food.
It was actually not free. It was from their own payment,
from your own
their
money.
investment,
Yes.
where these payments were made, and they went, with very nice T-shirts. Yeah, we saw the video posted on some social media. They were happy. They were so happy for what we call a decadence. So it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. So at the level of police, we're doing some other, we're taking some other actions that are security actions for now. He suggested some of them. I would speak like he does, but we are ensuring that we go to the end of this entire process. We have very, very smart people within the fraud unit who are taking this matter as a live issue now. I mean, and they are going at any level. So yes, we have partnered with them a lot. And then when we suspected, our officers went there to invest. And it was during those investment process, our men asked some critical question to the managing director and the other people, and they are not able to answer. Then we raised the flag that you are under arrest. And but even before we did that, few days after the scammers say that they're giving 2 days for these people to make investment because they are closing that. They link it to another unit and say that's where they are going to. Unfortunately, it's like a trap. In 2 hours' time, we're leaving if you're not at the bank. We are giving $100,000 for anyone who bring $5. Too good to believe. So they had to go and invest. Like, that's the moment. It's a race. It was like a rat race. Look, you have $30,000 loan me. I'm going to pay this. In 2 days, they're closing, and I will receive this in 1 week. So people invested a lot of money within that 2 days, and the wallet was closed.
And I can
it was not accessible.
What he's saying. Because my office is just right opposite alt office.
Okay, right.
So every day, my corridor is jam-packed.
Right,
it's difficult for me to even
access
my office. So
that's ironic.
One thing he said, it happens.
Wow.
The moment they made that announcement, that even the stairs were occupied. So it becomes difficult for you to even access your office. So the scheme, and not only AL, WishM, people need to understand. People need to be careful when doing business with any organization or institution. WishM don't even register in the Gambia. It's an online platform. And they will just share you a link that you will tap and open an app. And I'll be like, I always tell my team that, look, do you know that we have so many rich people in this country? People will just go and invest money. And most of these people borrowed money. That is why some of them are struggling. One of the key things is the strategy they use. They have 3 different categories. They have the first category where you pay $3,000. They have the second category. If you pass the first category, you aim, because you want to increase your revenue, you aim for the second category, which is $9,000. If you pay that, you complete that, you aim for a higher one, which is $28,000. Right?
Wow.
So the final one is $1,000.
Right.
And imagine you see young people who tell you that I will invest $1,000, and in fact I'll go and borrow money and invest. People need to watch out for things like this on the internet.
Speaking of watching out, what approach do you think people should now take as far as cybersecurity is concerned?
I always tell people, ask questions. And ask the relevant question. Ask people that you believe have the expertise in a particular domain that you think you want to invest in, or that you think that you want to get into. These are questions that are very, very important. In 2014, when we approached the Gambia Police Force to support them in setting up the cybercrime unit, some people were thinking, Gambia don't need
what they need for,
Yes.
And now it is doing wonderful.
Yeah,
it's one of the best units.
Yes, it's one of the best. And in fact, our data protection and privacy officer of the Gambia Cybersecurity Alliance, was appointed by the Gambia Police Force.
Right.
She works in that unit, which we are proud of. So Gambians need to understand You know, technology is advancing rapidly. So many changes are happening. So we want to ensure that the police are always one step ahead of the civilian population.
Yes, sure.
That is why even when we are conducting trainings, the specific tools that we expose the police force to, we don't expose civilians to that. One of the upcoming trainings that we are going to have with them very soon is on open source intelligence, which is also very, very important. So people need to watch out for kind of businesses that they engage in, especially online businesses. And also Gambians like to click so much. Whatever we see, we click.
Click on
Whatever we see, we click. Whatever we see, we click. So we need to watch out and be careful of the links that we click always, because certain things are there that you might think, okay, especially I always tell people, if you want to snatch people's password in the Gambia here, just write a specific link and say scholarship fully funded or trip to US fully funded, and you sit down and wait.
It's very common. Or visa,
yes,
visa
or
applications.
Visa application. You see the number of people that will click on those links. So people need to watch out for all these things as far as awareness and resilience is concerned.
Mr. Adi, speaking of clicking, how do you know that this particular website is authentic and this one is not authentic?
So
how
we have a platform. At the Africa Cybersecurity Alliance, recently we developed a platform which is a mobile app, because we know web interface sometimes is a problem for people. So this mobile app, you can download, install it. It's at the tested phase at this point in time. You can download, install it. If you see a suspicious link, you just copy the link and paste it into the app and scan it. It will tell you. You know, we also have what we call Virus Total, which is free. It is online. So Virus Total, you know, is a platform that helps you to scan, you know, any link that you receive. I never click on link without checking it on Virus Total. If I receive even a file, attachment, email attachment, I take the file, you know, upload it on Virus Total, scan it thoroughly to understand that the file doesn't have any embedded malicious code that is going to create some complications for my systems. So these are some of the things that Gambians need to watch out, and we need to be very
And I think something I'd like to add very, very quickly there, you mentioned about people being aware and to beware of, is that if somebody is trying to sell you something, whether it's a scheme or whatever, and you think you're going to benefit it, if you don't understand it, don't invest in it.
Exactly.
Don't invest in it. A friend of mine told me he was going to invest in crypto, and I said, okay, explain it to me. And he could not explain it. But he was telling me about people he knew who had made money from it or who were getting rich from it. I said, but you don't understand it yourself. So how do you know that it is what it is? I mean, and I'm not kidding, we haven't spoken for over a year, because we ended up having an argument with it. Because I said, you're being stupid now. Use your senses, investigate, check it out. If there's a site, Virus Total or whatever, check out. But understand the concept. If somebody's asking you to invest in something, you go. And just very, very quickly, we once closed down a Ponzi scheme that had affected over 2,500 people in London. We called 450 of them to a creditors meeting, and we were going to tell them that their money was gone forever and so on. The guy who started it had gone to Germany, and he'd evaded all summons. And he turned up at the meeting. To our shock, we thought, oh, this guy, he's got a nerve. That guy said, can you give me 5 minutes to apologize to these people? You know what he said when he got on the microphone? He said, these civil servants are stopping you from getting your money. I would promise to make you rich, and I would have if they hadn't stopped me. And they gave him a standing ovation. I am not kidding. I am not kidding. We were just like, this guy, he's conned you already and he's conning you again. Believe me, they lost every single penny that they had invested. But this is what people like that can do.
It's dangerous. It's dangerous. And even as we speak here this morning, there are other people who have joined the new scheme. Even with all the orientation, all the sensitization, the press briefing we have, it was on all platforms. But even with that, there are other people who are on the new scheme. You must have been aware of the new link, saying that because the WishM and the AL has taken their money, they are going to invest in this one and get
which is
the actual money. I don't know the name. I was sent the link, but I'm sure he is aware. So that's not retribution.
So
it's not retribution for anybody. You cannot. It's like you go into fire and expect cold. I mean, you cannot get that. So it's unfortunate. That's why during the press briefing, I said in the clear terms that the prevention of these scams are individual responsibility than anything else. And for the individual responsibility is to refuse to be scammed. I mean, it's not, nobody is hypnotized on online scamming.
Sure.
You know, we have had narrations that people are hypnotized in the Gambia by shaking hands. You
Yeah,
don't shake hands virtually. So you are not hypnotized. I mean, it is very willful and wishful. You can deny it. You can orient yourself and say, no, this is not a good one, and I am not going to take it. Julde, that's the point, and I am very, very concerned. As we speak right now, this day and age, of all the rumor, I mean, for past 1 week, this WishM and AL has been the talk of the town.
Yeah.
So how can you deliberately still go and join another one? In fact, I think they call themselves risk takers.
Yes.
Risk takers.
Yes.
Right.
It's sad.
It's true.
It's sad that this is happening. And I mean, well, as a police institution, we continue to stand in solidarity with them. But it is always, always wise to say that don't take that type of risks because you're not going to get anything out of it.
I know, Mr. Ade, in terms of the backway journey, Mr. Ade will always say that, I mean, you don't have anyone to blame. You see people dying, and the next minute people will still go. But in this instance, I think the Gambia cybersecurity has a big role to play, and of course the Gambia Police Force and the government, you know, in sensitizing people. You are in security. I, as a journalist, maybe I don't know some of these cybersecurity issues and things that I should be concerned with. But I think with sensitizations and all of that, it would really help people.
It takes more than that. I'll give it the quick. Sorry, carry on.
As he said, it takes more than recently. What the Gambia Cybersecurity Alliance did, we appointed regional focal persons and assistant regional focal persons across the entire country. In fact, we're doing that inauguration in 2 weeks' time. You understand? And we set up regional structures at the region because we want to ensure we filter down the information to the last person. As he rightly mentioned, at the continental stage, I think one of the biggest problems that we have as a continent is that we don't share intelligence. And also at the Africa Cybersecurity Alliance, this is one of the biggest things that we keep complaining about. This is what we have been pushing, you know, at the African Union level. Do you understand? Through the African Union Cybersecurity Experts Group, that if countries share cybersecurity intelligence among themselves, there are so many things that we can save each other. Like this happens in Liberia. Liberia is an ECOWAS member state. Within the 2 weeks, at least something would have been communicated to all ECOWAS member states to say this and this and this and this scheme is happening. You know, watch out. You understand? I always tell people, whenever I talk about this, people will be like, yeah, but we have Interpol. I'll be like, you see, we have Interpol, but in Europe, they have Europol as well.
Exactly. We should have Africa.
Yes, we should, exactly. You understand? So those are things that are very, very important, you know, for us to share intelligence. Awareness is a continuous thing. We're doing it every day. We're having, you know, like you invited me here. What I'm doing right now essentially is awareness. You know, talking to people. We're organizing summit like today. We are having a digital financial inclusion summit. Do you understand? To talk about cybersecurity and digital inclusion. You know, how people are affected with digital currencies and things like that. So the awareness continues as far as we are concerned.
I mean, just very, very quickly, people use electronic means now to scam people, and I'll give you an example of what happened. Even I got an email from the government saying, if you get this from the UK government, don't follow this link, because they kind of mimicked some of the government websites to be more persuasive. And what it said was that we understand because of COVID-19, lots of people couldn't go to work, that entitles you to compensation. But to get the compensation, you have to pay a small fee of £75. Now, by the time 100,000 people have paid that small fee of £75,000, you know how much they have collected. You know, but it's bogus. It's completely bogus. But it's tempting because everybody can say, oh, yeah, COVID-19, I couldn't go to work, I couldn't do this. I'm glad that government is giving me compensation. They said, everybody's entitled to compensation of 2,500. And you think, okay, if I pay £75 to speed up the thing, well, I'm getting 2,500. That's not bad. And so, of course, people fell for it. But it was completely fake.
Yeah.
So,
and it's even more deceptive. Some of those links, if you follow them, they have a mark. It's like they will tell you share to another.
Yeah,
So if you share another group, you see your mark step 2.
Yeah,
So you share another group step 3.
Yes.
Until when you finish, they tell you congratulations for completing.
Yeah, right.
You'll be there for decades.
You'll never see anything
whatsoever from these people. So for me, Mr. Ari and Julde, I don't really want to go far into complexities as far as this matter is concerned. This is more of a personal responsibility than anything else.
Yeah.
You know, it's a personal responsibility to, especially in the Gambia. Look, this is not the first time we've heard of the QNet here.
Yes.
We've heard of
You
know, we've heard of other experience here. And I mean, but of course, this one, nothing come. When I look at the video, no, I was shocked. I was shocked that these people were too happy. And when we have I have this
with
funny,
food and
I
all
have
that.
this funny interaction with the managing director, their representative here, managing director, who is right now very much confused about everything because he did not see it coming completely.
Wow.
So when I told him, why are you recruiting our innocent people into this scam? He will say, no, boy, I do not do it. You know, you don't understand. In fact, these people, they went for party. So they send me nice photos and videos. They were enjoying. So that statement make me laugh hard. But I mean, you come to see that all of these things, people are victim of circumstance, and it is preventable. That's the good news. It's preventable. So it's only advisable that we take individual responsibility to prevent ourselves from being scammed. And it's sad. These are young people. Sometimes we have young people who go and lend money from somewhere.
Yes.
Thousands of dollars. People invest $45,000, $50,000 in this business, expecting a whole lot. And no, it's too serious that it's like it's impulse. You're forced to go out and get more people to also. That's the entire idea of pyramid scheme. It's an investment scheme where you bring a lot of people, and when you fulfill your intention, you are out of the box. That's it. And at the police force, we can only advise people and stand with them with this difficult time. We're always very much open. I learned some people are feeling some whatever, not to come forward. We advise them to come forward.
I mean,
this is something that really happened.
And
no one is singling out anyone to say it is your responsibility, it's your failure. We understand. Let's use it the government way. It's destined to happen. So they can come forward. Gambia, everything is destined to happen. Well, somebody outside will tell me it's destined that you're on QTV. It's my responsibility I'm doing here. So, but we take it as that. That will bring another debate. So let them come forward and report to our fraud unit. It will help us a lot. We want to have that exact amount so that we write authoritatively to see what other steps can come forward as far as this matter is concerned.
Amadou, finally?
Yeah, just to tell people that cybersecurity is trending, and you know, cyber criminals they are everywhere, and people need to understand that in the cyberspace, like in the real world environment, we have borders. If you come into the Gambia, you have to pass through Siliti or you know Amdalai or where. In the cyberspace, there is no border. There's no border. Do you understand? So anything can happen. It can come from any angle. It can come from any direction. The most important thing is we always tell people the internet is a very good resource. It's a very, very good tool. If you use it wisely, you can make money. People are doing remote work. Right now, I'm doing 3 remote work for 3 companies in EU, within the European Union. And I am not there. I am here. And I'm paid for that. So people need to understand these are some of the things that we can use the internet in order to change our own life, but not to be deceived by things that are too good to be true. In short, that is the advice that I can give people.
Thank you, gentlemen. Mr. Ade, finally.
My final word: just type my name in a search engine, Ade Darami Insolvency Service, and you will see about 100 different types of online scams, all of which will soon be coming to the Gambia. Read of how to avoid them because we close all of those down in the UK. So, it's a word of warning. But, be skeptical and don't believe everything. And finally, obviously, if something is presented to you as too good to be true, guess what? It is too good to be true.
Thank you very much. Amadou, thank you. Mohammed, I know you said you But anyway, I won't allow you. I
It's
told you
off
this
air.
is my platform. Thank you, gentlemen. But before I go, today my outfit is sponsored by Njai Chara Market, and you can